Okay, so today we're going to speak about this and what it is and if it's needed and if you should do it and how you should do it. So I'm quite sure you've seen someone, maybe Steve Vai, I don't know, Paul Gilbert do, this kind of super weird thing. You're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, that's cool when he does it, but I don't want to do that. And you'd probably be right, because that kind of thing maybe isn't that cool. What I'm doing here is just playing like 4 notes on the high E string, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So constantly playing the E note, but on different places. And why is it cool? Well, if you think it's cool, it might be because it's kind of like an ear fooler. You see the fingers moving and something should be happening, but it's still the same pitch over and over and over. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to try that, it's just 0 on the high E string, 5 on the B string, 9 on the G string, 14 on the D string, and then it's like, whoa, 19 on the A string. Okay. Let's leave that aside. That's a cool trick. But what I did was this kind of thing, right? So I kind of weaved it into my jamming and my soloing. And you could ask yourself the same question. Is it needed? Is it just because it's fancy? But here I have a better reply for you. Let's check out the first thing I played there. So basically like 4 note per string, picking, chromatic, 1, 2, 3, 4. That kind of build up. So I did. And then I went into that excessive refingering thing, which is what I like to call this. So playing the same note over and over again, but with different fingers. And here it actually served a purpose, and I'm going to explain why. You see, I was going up 4 note per string, chromatic, from the 12th fret D string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I had my target note on the 12th fret high E string. And because I was able to refinger, I could then reach out for this kind of thing. So in other words, I'm here with the index finger, and now I can easily stretch to the 15th fret and play my excessive bending. But let's see one more time in action, and maybe you can better understand why I'm doing it. So there you had it in action. I played my 4 note per string chromatic starting on the 12th fret D string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11th fret, 11th fret, 10th fret, and landing on the 12th fret. And there I did a bunch of, and decided to finally land on my index finger, and then I could stretch up and do this. So that's awesome. Wow, my new teacher. That's awesome, Nguyen. Thank you so much. Is it Nguyen or is it Nguyen? I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a European mix of culture here, but I have very little knowledge of Asian languages, so sorry. Nguyen. I'm gonna guess it's Nguyen. Okay, so there you have it. It serves a purpose, and on top of that, you get a cool staccato effect, or actually I would say you get a cool tonal effect by changing your finger. Now, some might think this is just I don't know, gimmick, or what's the word? How the hell could you hear a difference between... There is a slight difference, and it's amplified with the pickups and the electric guitar. More chromatic licks, awesome. We can speak about more chromatic licks. So not only do you get an advantage in terms of giving yourself a little bit more time to reposition your fingers, but you're also getting somewhat of a different tonal effect. And why is that good? Well, the more tricks you have in your bag of shops or your arsenal of shops, the more interesting your playing is going to be. I mean, if you take an extreme case where you just know one lick, that's pretty boring, right? And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have like someone who can improvise freely. You want to be somewhere in the middle there, I would say. I mean, if you can improvise freely, that would also be cool. That's one of my goals, but I'm not there yet. Let's try it. More chromatics, there you have it. Let's try it one more time. So, my excessive refingering, if you missed the beginning, it's basically just fretting the same place but with different fingerings. And in this video, I basically explained to you why it's a good idea. Kira, still here, awesome! Hopefully this can shed some light on why I do these things and why you might see other people do it. Now, because Kira so kindly asked for some chromatics, I'm gonna play a little bit of chromatics and we can break one of those licks down. Sorry, I have to make those faces. So the easiest trick, I would say, if you're new to this, is basically just to target, if you're an E, like any standard. Doesn't have to be. It sounds like that's what I'm playing in the backing track here. Just anything in E. Then you can grab the 15th fret on the B string, the 12th fret, and then the 15th fret on the G string. And there you have a very cool. It's actually chromatic because you're doing this. But because you're fretting this note on a more suitable place, doesn't look chromatic, but it sounds chromatic. And I play this with my pick and fingers. So here's one I would recommend. 12, 15, 12, 15. So Kiro, maybe you're thinking about the other one, the picking pattern. Is this what you're thinking about? We can break down that as well. It's very straightforward. It's just 4 notes per string, starting on the D string 12 frets. So basically doing 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we're going to do the same thing on the next string, but on the 11th fret. So 11, 12, 13, 14. And then the same thing on the B string, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then finally on the E string, high E string, we're doing 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's super predictable pattern. But since we're playing an even number of notes per string, 4 notes per string, picking gets easy. It's much, much easier than playing 3 notes per string, okay? So if you're struggling with that kind of thing, then you're gonna find this probably a little bit easier. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, when I was starting out, these patterns were pretty popular for warm-up. I'm not sure how good they are, but it's cool for this kind of fusion effect. And I think it's really cool if you just use it as a build-up, a little bit, Steve Morse style. So in other words, I did play this. So right before that excessive refingering thing we've been speaking about, I played this chromatic pattern as a build-up. So and fast we get it. And if you're wondering how I get that super staccato sound, I'm using both the excessive refingering technique and I'm also muting the note in between. So cheers, Amaziah, and thanks so much, user, which I can't pronounce the name, but you said love it. Thank you so much. So basically, that kind of thing. So if we put it all together, we get... And then just play a blues lick. Whoa, guitar god, thanks so much, Perso. So I'm combining my chromatic run with excessive refingering and some staccato, and then I'm ending on a blues note. So if we put all that together, we get... And then we can play some legato. Hybrid legato. And always try to end on some kind of note that's on time and on pitch. Otherwise, everything you did prior to that just goes into the bin. That's super important. So try one more time. So can't stress that enough. A lot of times when you do a fancy lick and you don't manage to get out of it in a proper way, it just doesn't sound good. It just sounds like you practice something. Vikri from Indonesia, nice to meet you. Thanks so much for tuning in, man. So let's do it one more time slowly so you can kind of grasp exactly what I'm doing here. I start with the chromatic lick, which I just broke down for you, so you can rewind the video afterwards and check it out. It's basically this. Playing strictly alternate picking, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And as I said, since it's an even number of notes per string, 4 notes per string, alternate picking is made much, much easier than if you're playing 3 notes per string. So, we do. And then I go into that excessive refingering thing, basically this. Right? I play the same note but with different fingers. And not only that, but I'm also dampening each note in between, and I'm doing that by using the side of my thumb. So I pick and then I mute. And when I mute, I also reposition my pick, so I'm totally ready to just pick again and mute again. Pick again, mute again. Pick again, mute again. And if you combine that with the refingering, you get... If we combine it with the chromatic run, we get... Ah, that sucked, so let's try one more time. And finally, what we're doing is we're ending on a blues lick. And we can break that one down as well, so you have an example of how to kind of transition out of this weird thing into something more standard, and which is going to offer some relief to the listener's ears. Awesome, Kiru and Amasia. Please do give it a shot, and if you want to record something, I'll be sure to share it as well. So, basically I'm doing this kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan inspired thing. So I'm only playing the 12th and the 15th fret the following way. Bending the high E string 15th fret, and then semi-barring the 12th fret, like that. So, And I'm alternating between the 15th fret high E string and 15th fret B string. So we get... So 15 and you bending, 12, 12, 15 on the B string bending, and then the same 12, 12 again. And to really get the right sound here, the bend should start slowly and then it should accelerate. And towards the end of that acceleration, you're gonna kill the note the same way we killed our excessive refingering notes with the side of our thumb here. Okay, this is important if you want it to sound the traditional bluesy way. You gotta bend it slowly and mute. Slowly accelerate and mute. Slowly accelerate and mute. So we get... So if we put all these details and licks together, we should get something like this. One more time. One more time slowly. So we get note, let's see what you guys are saying here. The neck position. You mean this one, right? Of course, my sound now isn't really optimized for streaming. I have like a recording setup. I'm about to record something over this track I'm playing. So I don't know, could sound fatter probably, but please show licks using string 1, 2, 3, 12th fret. String 1, 2, 3. Fret master roll, add some chroma, please. What would that be? So we have to add some chromatic or some arpeggios in there as well. You can't live without arpeggios, right? Cool, guys. So this is a pretty cool session here. I like the idea that we kind of broke down a run, and we also actually, I would say, a bit in together there, we built the run as well. So in a way, this is like a community lick we just came up with. If you guys practice that and give me some feedback on it, maybe we can develop it into something more. But it's been really cool seeing you learn this in real time. And of course, I'm going to keep the video here forever. So if you want to go back and watch it over and over, that'd be an honor for me. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for your support and all your great comments on the channel. It means the world. Please keep that coming. You guys are the best. See ya. Cheers.